Welcome to the International Kriegsspiel Society's video on what is Kriegsspiel. In today's video, I'm going to tell you what Kriegsspiel is all about and why you will probably enjoy playing Kriegsspiel simply because it is unlike any other game you have played. I'll explain what that means and invite you to join us on our Discord and our website so that you can participate in this fun and exciting experience. My name is Marshall Neal. I am the founder of the International Kriegsspiel Society. This is the second version of this video, made several years after the production of the original. My goal in this video is not only to educate you, but also personal, which is to do a better job creating the second video than I did on the first. So without further delay, let's talk about what is Kriegsspiel. Kriegsspiel is a term that might sound unfamiliar to many. It represents a fascinating and historically significant form of military simulation. It was developed in the early 19th century by the Prussian military. Kriegsspiel was not just a game, but a revolutionary tool for training officers in the art of war. But what exactly is this game, and why has it endured over 2 centuries? Let's explore the game's mechanics, its unique features, and why it remains a beloved pastime for military enthusiasts, historians, and of course, all the members of the International Kriegsspiel Society alike. At its core, Kriegsspiel is a war game designed to simulate the complexities of military conflict. While we call it a game, and in fact the name Kriegsspiel literally means war game, it is in fact intended to be used as a simulation and a training exercise, as well as a way to simulate what might happen in an actual military conflict. Unlike many modern war games, Kriegsspiel is played on several tables, usually a minimum of 3, one for the red team, one for the blue team, and a third for the umpire. Each team or player, depending on how far you want to divide the players, has their own map representing the battlefield, as well as standardized pieces that depict the various military units. Players may be able to play what we call command staff style, which is where the players on the red team and the players on the blue team are huddled together around the same map with the same pieces. However, players may also be segregated or separated into separate study carrels or even rooms where they are sequestered from all other players and may only communicate via dispatch. In such a case, the players, their fog of war, if you will, is much heightened or increased by their lack of contact with their peers, and the fact that in those cases they're only able to see what they themselves can see from the saddle or on foot through their spyglass on the battlefield. When we play online, this is actually very easy to do because each player is segregated into their own channel, such as on Discord. One of the most distinctive features of Kriegsspiel is this particular double-blind system, or in the case of having players sequestered, multiple blind. In this setup, neither team can see the other's position or movements on the battlefield. This lack of direct visibility mirrors the uncertainty of real warfare, where commanders must make decisions based on incomplete information. Each team submits their orders to the umpire, or rather each player, who processes them and updates the situation accordingly. The role of the umpire is critical in Kriegsspiel. The umpire acts as the impartial judge, interpreting the rules and making decisions based on the orders given by the teams. The umpire not only manages the flow of the game, but also introduces the element of chance, representing unpredictable nature of battle. This system ensures that the game remains fair while also challenging for the players to think like real military commanders. One of the things that may sometimes frustrate players, but we call it a feature, not a bug, of Kriegsspiel, is the fact that sometimes player orders are inaccurately implemented. This can happen for a variety of reasons. The most common reason is simply the orders given to the umpire were unclear. But sometimes umpires also make their own mistakes. Everybody's human. When these mistakes are made, on occasion we will correct them or reverse them. It depends on the circumstances. But more often than not, we actually keep the mistake, and we compel the player to suffer or live with their mistake as accordingly. The reason we do this is because real life, actual warfare, is fraught with such complexities. An officer may order a lieutenant to occupy a particular position, and the lieutenant takes the wrong road. That's a common example. And in real life, just as in real war, and in the game, the player has to deal with that. They have to figure out, how am I going to account for this error, and what am I going to do about it? That's one of the features, not the bugs, of Kriegsspiel. Sometimes that can be done by the umpire. Sometimes the player is responsible. On occasion, we will correct it and reverse it, but not always. But in the end, it adds to the fun of the experience. There is even more fog of war and more unpredictability than you would have in any other type of game, such as a hex encounter war game. Another key aspect of Kriegsspiel is its emphasis on delayed communication and order implementation. In real-life military operations, orders often take time to reach their intended recipients, and conditions on the battlefield can change rapidly during that time. To simulate this, Kriegsspiel introduces delays between when an order is given and when it is executed. This forces players to think ahead and anticipate enemy movements, and adapt their strategies on the fly. As I've mentioned before, Kriegsspiel also places an emphasis on realism. The game uses standardized maps and pieces that are designed to accurately reflect the terrain and unit capabilities. The rules account for various factors such as terrain, weather, troop morale, weapon types, and more, all of which can impact the outcome of a battle. The goal is to create a simulation that is as close to real warfare as possible, providing players with a deep and challenging experience. One of the things that players must understand, however, is that the rules of the game are known only to the umpire, and they are deliberately kept secret from the players. The reason for this is simple. We don't want players to be trying to calculate die roll modifiers, or column shift modifiers, or attack bonuses, and so on, like they would in a normal, let's say, hex encounter type war game. That's because a real-life commander would not have such data or information at their fingertips, or at least they wouldn't be thinking in those terms. A real-life commander seeks to find advantages in terms of things such as morale, terrain, weapon type and capability, intelligence, and so on. This is where a battlefield commander will find their advantages, and this is also where you will find your advantages on the Kriegsspiel battlefield. But the rules will be kept secret from you so that you won't be exploiting a line of text to gain an advantage, as opposed to focusing more on the terrain or the other circumstances of the battlefield around you. So, what makes Kriegsspiel so special, more than just its emphasis on realism? Well, it's the way that it replicates the fog of war, the complexity of command, and the unpredictability of battle. The double-blind nature of the game forces players to make decisions based on limited information, much like real-life military leaders. This could be very frustrating to many gamers who are accustomed to seeing everything on the table or on the battlefield map when they play an I go, you go, or a hex encounter or area movement type conventional war game out of a box. This is a much different experience. But it is such a compelling experience that many people, once they've had a taste of it, will refuse to go back to the old hex encounter out-of-the-box war games that they used to play. Or even better, they will try to adapt Kriegsspiel mechanics for those out-of-the-box war games for a fresh new experience. It is certainly compelling. The umpired system ensures that the game is both fair and challenging, while the use of multiple tables allow for a dynamic and immersive experience where the fog of war is omnipresent. The delayed communication feature adds another layer of realism, requiring players to think strategically and to anticipate changes on the battlefield. Finally, like I mentioned many times already, the emphasis on realism ensures that every move counts, making it a true test of skill and foresight. Today, Kriegsspiel is played by many of the world's militaries. It is also played by historians and gamers around the world. It is even played by businesses and government agencies, albeit not necessarily with the battlefield emphasis. but it is played to simulate possible outcomes and to train how to grapple with the uncertainties of leadership. It has inspired countless other war games. In fact, it is the great-grandfather of all war games and role-playing games such as Dungeons and Dragons. It remains a valuable tool for understanding military strategy and decision-making. Whether you're drawn to this as a historical game or because you're interested in warfare or the complexity or whatever, understand that Kriegsspiel is going to offer you a unique opportunity to have, if you will, just a hint of the taste of actual war with a strong and powerful emphasis on realism that you cannot get with any other gaming system. Whether it's tabletop miniatures, area movement war games out of a box, hex and counter war games, none of these things will provide you with the same command experience and entertainment value, if you will, not to mention educational value, that Kriegsspiel will provide. That brings me to the end of this video where I simply invite you to join us. I'd like to invite you to visit Kriegsspiel.org, which is our website and resource center, where you can find resources including rules and maps and books and other things to put together your own Kriegsspiel. I'd also like to invite you to find our Discord. You can search for us online, our Discord. It's also on our website. And join our Discord community where you can play either real live games in real time or play-by-post games. So if you don't have 2, 3, 4, 5 hours to commit to a live game, you can play by post, where you simply have to give 10 to 15 minutes every few days or once a week to submit your orders, if even that. And it allows you to have all the same fun and experience that playing a live game will also provide. Thank you for watching our video, and I hope to see you join our community. And when you do, just say that Marshall invited you and that you found us through YouTube or wherever you found us, and then get into some games and have a great time. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you on our next adventure. Bye for now.